All right, Chambers County Probate Court will come to order. We can get all these bugs worked out. Those of you that are going to testify, go ahead and raise your right hand. Let's swear you in. All right, raise your right hand. Christy, go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yeah. Yes.
You can put your hand down. All right, cause number 22, CPR 0003, the state of Bobby Joe Walker.
We're ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Creed.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
Sorry. City Council.
Thank you, Judge. Is Mike Ross here?
That is me. I am here.
Gotcha.
It says Jay
I
Gross.
appreciate it.
It says Jay Gross. That's a different name, but yes.
Okay.
Got it. I appreciate it. And Judge, before we proceed, we filed a lab genetic testing report on May 12th, 2022. We'd like to. Oh, go ahead.
Leave. I'm going to come back in.
Okay, go ahead, Captain.
We submitted a lab court genetic testing report on May 12th, 2022. We'd like to submit that into evidence as plaintiff's one.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, accepted in evidence.
Thank you, Judge. I'd like to call Mike Ross. Mike, can you state your name for the court?
Well, Ross,
And how did you know the decedent, Bobby Walker?
I was friends with the boyfriend of Victoria Mayo's brother.
Got it. About how long did you know Bobby?
I'm trying to think of when this all started. And let's see, 2000, I guess.
Okay. And so you had, got it. So you had the opportunity to become familiar with his family and marital history to some extent. Is that correct?
Yeah, to some extent. I saw in the paper it said something about him being married before. I was not aware of that one.
Okay. Well, we'll start there. To the best of your knowledge, anyway, he was married one time to Darla Mintner in 1978, whom he later divorced. Is that correct?
I'm unaware of that statement.
Okay. And so, but to the best of your knowledge, he wouldn't have been married to anybody else. Is that correct, to your knowledge?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, he had one child, Victoria Ellen Mayo. Is that correct?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, no other children were born to or adopted by him during his life. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
He never talked to you about taking anyone into his home or adopting any other child. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, he died without leaving a written will. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
He never talked to you about going to see an attorney, or you never saw him write anything down. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And lastly, you have no financial interest in this estate. Is that correct?
That is correct. No.
You're not getting anything for being here today, right?
No, absolutely no.
Gotcha. Pass the witness.
Yes.
Mr. Ross, you and I talked on May 11th, and you are acquainted with the applicant in this case. That is the daughter of Bobby Joe Walker. You're acquainted with Victoria, is that right?
Yes.
And so far as you know, she is the only child of Bobby Joe Walker.
Yes.
And I understand that you may have resided in the home for a number of years. Is that correct?
Resided where?
Did you, what was the name of Victoria's mother?
Stacy Lindahl.
Okay. And as far as you know, there was no other child born or adopted. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And where do you reside, sir?
Now I reside in subdivision called Waterwood on Lake Livingston.
Okay. All right. I pass the witness.
Counsel, call you next witness.
Thank you, Judge. And that's all we have for today. Our other witness, Alan Brown, is hard of hearing and not good with technology. So we have sent an affidavit, which we don't have back yet, but he has confirmed receipt and is sending today. So as soon as we get that with the court's permission, we'd like to submit that as his testimony.
Okay, yes, and, Melinda advised me of that, so.
Okay. That's all we have for today, Your Honor.
All right,
Judge, I spoke with Alan Brown extensively, and I was satisfied with his testimony that he was acquainted with the family, and actually he lived right down the street from Bobby and Walker and Victoria, and he knew them for many years. He went to school with Victoria, I believe. So he was well acquainted with the decedent and knew that he worked for AT&T. So I'm satisfied that Mr. Brown is sufficiently knowledgeable about the family and marital history of the decedent. And I spoke with him, and he made it clear that he's not familiar with Zoom, not familiar with an iPhone, and for medical reasons, couldn't participate in the hearing.
all right, but you're satisfied with the judgment declaring heirship.
Oh, yes, absolutely, Judge.
All right, then I'm gonna approve the judgment declaring heirship. We still need that affidavit, Counselor. And I'm also gonna approve the appointee fees. And that's all you have today?
That's all we have, Your Honor. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
May we be excused?
You may be. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you too, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, cause number 5522 CPR 0055, the state of James Richard Starr. Good morning, Ms. Rendon.
Good morning.
You may proceed, ma'am.
All righty. A decedent died on April 10th, 2022 in Chambers County, Texas. Decedent's date of death was less than 4 years ago. He was a resident of Chambers County at his time of death. I'm looking at a copy of the last will and testament of decedent, which is dated August 22nd, 2019. I recognize this to be the last will and testament of James Richard Starr. To the best of my knowledge, he did not revoke his will. He was not divorced after the date of the will. There's no there's no children born to or adopted by decedent after the date of the will. There's no state government agency or charitable organization named as a devotee in the will. There is a necessity for an administration. The will does name his son Joseph Starr as his executor. He is qualified and not disqualified to serve as such. Will state self-proof state non-taxable, and we request the appraisal be waived, Your Honor. Yeah.
Will of probate and authorized letters.
You, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, cause number,
Another one too. I was just going to wait around. I didn't know if mine was next or not. So
you have another one?
yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to it in just a moment. All right, number 56, the state of Roger Lee Hamilton.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good morning again. You're still here. You may proceed, Counsel. We sworn you
Okay.
witness. You did, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may proceed, Counsel.
Call Susan Renee Bartlett Hamilton. State your name for the court.
Susan Renee Bartlett Hamilton.
Okay. And did Roger Lee Hamilton pass away on October 17th, 2020 in Old River, Winfrey?
Yes,
Okay. Was your husband, Roger Lee Hamilton, a resident of Old River, Winfrey, Chambers County, Texas at the time of his death?
yes,
Okay. I'm showing you a document which purports to be, well, in this case, a copy of his last will and testament, and which also purports to be a handwritten will. Do you recognize this?
yes, it's
Oh.
his right.
Okay. Is this a signature?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that he revoked this will after he made it?
No,
Okay. Did he have any children born to or adopted by him after he made this will back in April of 2016?
no,
Okay. And did he have any marriage that ended after he made this will in 2016?
no,
And 4 years have not elapsed or gone by since he died. Is that right?
that's right.
All right. And there is a necessity for administration of this estate, correct?
Yes.
Because of the various assets you have.
Yeah.
And the state, the government, or charity, none of those are named as a devotee in the will. Is that
No,
right?
that's
Okay.
right.
And you understand the will does not designate anyone in this purpose an executor. And in connection with the application, you asked the court as the only beneficiary in the will to be appointed as independent administrator with will and acts. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you are qualified and not disqualified to serve as independent administrator with will and acts. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. May I call my next witness, Your Honor?
You may, sir.
Okay, thank you. And I will call first of the two witnesses to establish the handwriting signature. Let's see, let's do Kay Ballard. How does that work? Okay, come on, have a seat.
Hello, Judge.
All right.
Has she been sworn in also?
Yes, and you understand you took the oath a few minutes
Yes,
ago.
I
is that
did,
right?
sir.
Okay, you may proceed.
Okay, and can you state your name for the judge?
Kay Ballard.
All right, and were you acquainted with Roger Lee Hamilton?
Yes.
How long did you know him?
30 years.
Okay, and how did you know him?
Neighbor.
He was your neighbor. Okay. Would you say you were somewhat familiar with his handwriting and signature based on the fact
Yes.
that you knew him for approximately 30
Yes.
years? All right. Now I'm going to show you which is a copy, the original file with the court, copy of purported last will and testament. Does this look to be in the handwriting of Mr. Roger Hamilton? Does that look like his signature right there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that in 2016, so about 6 years ago, he was of sound mind?
Yes.
Okay, and would he have been at least 18 years of age at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Right. And may I call my last witness, Your Honor?
You may.
All right, thank you. Okay. And you took the oath a few minutes ago, is that right?
I did.
All right, and could you state your name for the judge?
Stanley Ballard.
All right, and were you acquainted with Roger Lee?
Oh, yes.
How long?
About 30 years.
Okay, and you knew him how?
He was a friend and next door neighbor.
All right, and were you acquainted with his handwriting signature? Okay, and I'm finally showing you what purports to be his handwritten will, a copy. Does that look to you to be in his handwriting and signature?
Yes.
And that does look like his signature right there. All right, and do you believe in 2016, about 6 years ago, he would have been a sound mind?
Yes.
Okay, and would he have been at least 18 years of age at that time?
Yes.
Okay, that concludes all the testimony we have to offer, Your Honor.
All right, everybody admit to will to probate. Admit the holographic will to probate and authorize letters of independent administration with will annexed. Thank you, Council.
Okay, and may the executor, excuse me, the administrator go ahead and sign the oath here at my office.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And it's in the net.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Take care. Number 58, the state of Loretta M. Ordowan. Ms. Clapper, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you and you can hear us.
Great.
Yeah, you may proceed.
You'll have to administer the oath because at that point you couldn't hear us and we couldn't hear you.
Raise your right hand, please, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes.
And you may proceed, Counselor.
Is your name Stacy Ardwan Dawson?
Yes.
And are you the daughter of Loretta M. Ardwan Pilot?
Yes.
And did your mother die on May the 1st of 2022 at the age of 70 in Chambers County, Texas?
Yes.
And had she resided here in Chambers County for more than 38 years prior to her death?
Yes.
Was she married twice during her lifetime?
Yes.
The first time would have been to, let me see, John Wilson DeQuint on April 18th of 72. That marriage ended in divorce on September the 5th of 74 in the 344th District Court of Chambers County. Was any child born to or
No.
adopted during that marriage? Then the second marriage was to Gary Lee Pilot, May the 10th of 75 in Jefferson County. That marriage ended by divorce on August 15th of 85 in the Superior Court of Arizona for Maricopa County. One child was born during that marriage.
Yes.
And that would be Gary Lee Pilot. I'm sorry.
Gary Reason.
Gary Reason Eugene Pilot, born November 5th of 76. He's your half brother.
Yes.
And you were born before either one of these marriages.
Yes.
But you were adopted by Mr. Pilot during this marriage.
Yes.
And was any other child born to or adopted by your mom during her lifetime?
No.
Now I'm going to show you this will. And you recognize that as your mother's signature?
Yes, ma'am.
And then go going over to the back, you recognize that it was notarized on the 13th day of May, 2021 by Lana Yon, whose commission expires 12/27 of 24. And was this will ever revoked by your mother after May of 2021?
No,
Was she married after May of 2021? Did you have any children after May
No.
of 2021? All right, so you know of no other will that your mom had.
no, ma'am.
Now, it does designate you to be the independent executor of the estate, and you're willing to, and you're not disqualified by any means from serving as the independent executor of the estate.
No,
All right, there's no Medicaid or other agency that would have a claim against the estate as a beneficiary or a claim like Medicaid expenses.
no, ma'am.
All right, now, 4 years, of course, has not gone by, and you're asking the court to grant you letters testamentary today and for you to then be able to handle the assets of your mom
Yes, ma'am.
that she's left.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all, Your Honor.
We're gonna
I
do
do need you
probate.
to,
Go ahead.
on the order, Judge, you need to change the first line from June the 17th when we were first set to today. July the 5th.
All right, for the record, it was changed to July the 5th, and I've initialed it. And I approved the probate and authorize probate of the will and authorize letter. Thank you, Counsel.
Thank you, Judge.
You take care. All right, cause number 61, the state of James Milton Gibbs. Mr. Hendon, you're up. Lacey, you're muted.
I'm muted. I was wondering why you didn't answer me. I asked you if you were ready. I was like, well, I guess that means he's ready. So you just never heard me.
Okay, now you may speak.
All right, James Milton Gibbs died on May 13th, 2022 in Chambers County, Texas. His date of death was less than 4 years ago. He was a resident of Chambers County at his time of death. I'm looking at a copy of his will dated October 21st, 2013. To the best of my knowledge, he did not revoke his will. There was no children born to or adopted by decedent after the date of the will. He was not married at the time of signing his will, nor was he divorced after the will. There are no debts owed by Mr. Gibbs. His estate consists of some personal items and one piece of property. His heirs at law are his two children, that's Stephen Gibbs and James Gibbs. There's no necessity for administration. Decedent did not apply for nor receive any Medicaid benefits after March of 2005. There's no state, government agency, or charitable organization named as a devotee. We're asking you to accept his will solely as a muniment of title, Your Honor, and that the affidavit of fulfillment of the terms be waived.
So done. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Good.
Bye, Vaughn.
All right, cause number 64, 22 CPR 64, the state of Ella Ray Mormon. Good morning, Mr. Davidson.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Good. You may proceed, counsel.
Very good. All right. Mr. Mormon, please state your name for the court.
Robert Calvert Mormon.
And what was your relationship to the decedent, Ella Ray Mormon?
I was her eldest son.
And your mom passed away on June 9th, 2022, Mont Bellevue, Chambers County, Texas. Is that correct?
Yes.
And clearly 4 years have not elapsed since the date of her death.
No.
And this court has jurisdiction and venue in that your mom had a fixed place of residence in Chambers County at the time of her death, didn't she?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, the document that's been tendered to the court is her last will and testament, which was signed on February 13th, 1983. Is her last will and testament and was never revoked, was it?
No, not as far as I know.
Your Honor, I would request that you take judicial notice that the original will is in the court's file.
Hold on.
No state, governmental agency, or charitable organization is named in your mother's will as a devisee, are they?
No,
And after the date of the will, there were no children born to or adopted by your mom, were there?
no,
And there was no marriage dissolved after the date the will was made, were there?
no,
And her will named you to serve as independent executor, and you are not disqualified to serve in that capacity, are you?
no,
But you are in fact qualified, aren't you?
I am.
Your Honor, we would ask that the last will and testament be admitted to probate, that letters testamentary be issued to Mr. Foreman upon his execution of his oath. And it's a non-taxable estate. Request that appraisers be waived.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did we get Honeycutt?
We're ready to go if you're ready to go.
Okay, I skipped over it, didn't
That's okay.
I? Thank you. All right,
Okay.
right hand, please.
You just
Did Christie?
say yes.
Yes.
Try
Colin
again.
muted me.
That's okay. And she was sworn in. I had her be sworn
Oh,
in.
she was, okay.
So
Okay.
she
You
was
may
here.
speak,
So
Counselor.
we're good to go.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
please state your name for the court.
Paula Nelson,
And what was your relationship to the decedent Mark Floyd Honeycutt Sr.?
primary caregiver, personal assistant.
Gotcha. And Mr. Honeycutt died on May 6th, 2022, Mount Bellevue, Chambers County, Texas, at the age of 68 years. Is that right?
Yes.
And clearly 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death. This court has jurisdiction in venue and that he had a fixed place of residence here in Chambers County at the time of his death. Is that right?
That is correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, the will that it was tendered to the court dated June 9th, 2021 was never revoked, was it?
No, sir, it was not.
Your Honor, again, I would request that you take judicial notice that the original will is on file with the court.
Hold on, looking at it.
Great. And in Mr. Honeycutt's will, there were no governmental agencies, state organizations, or charitable organizations named as devisees, were there?
No.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that, Your Honor. We do have two. I've read my own mail here. So there was a bequest to the Texas Parks and Wildlife and then one to Brazosport High School band. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that is correct. I wasn't sure how they fell into
And
this
will,
statement.
they will be appropriately notified, Your Honor.
Yeah, I see those.
After the date of the will, there were no children born to or adopted by the decedent, were there?
No, sir.
And there were no marriages dissolved after the date the will was made, were there?
No, sir.
And his will named you, Paula Nelson, to serve as independent executor with that bond. Is that right?
That is correct.
And you are not disqualified to serve in that capacity, are you?
No, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, I request that the will be admitted to probate, that upon execution of her oath, that letters testamentary be issued and the appraisers be waived as it is a non-taxable estate.
Hold on. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day. May we be excused?
Thank you, you may be. Court's adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chris.